Men and women, I present to you VaLOrANT.
I told him to dodge.
Side.
Here they are. Let's play some Overwatch too, Ale.
Two.
I can't help you.
Why are you standing still? Fucking swing!
I got him.
I got Molly! There's smoke, people! What do you want me to do? We lost regardless!
You can have it, I have no armor.
Like, what are you doing? You fucking... I don't know, man. Just fucking put trap or something. Put traps! You're Cypher! Put traps!
Get on the match, bro.
Fight traps!
Men and women, I present to you Rainbow Six Siege.
Worries got to dream the things that bother you. Never bother me. Never bother me. I feel
Do you honestly think you're...
living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having time. Having got a lot, I don't need a lot. Coffee's only a pound. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having
Katzang getting softened up. There goes Grixer as well. And all of a sudden it's Kansan, but a beautiful double play. Trying to ride out the final 4 seconds. He has no idea where that diffuser is. SMG up. They're watching in this position. As he goes to swing out, there's both Coded and Katzang watching from this angle. Kansan, are you a miracle worker? You only need one more. And there it is. One of the best plays that we've seen at this turn.
O spawn já desceu, será que vai conseguir eliminação? Consegue belo trabalho, eliminação em cima do jogador, quase tenta uma double kill. Olha o Nesk, double kill pra ele, vai partir terceiro, triple kill, 4K do Nesk, impressionante! O que tá acontecendo, Retalha? Revolt sozinho, será que ele consegue levar mais uma situação complicada pra ele? Tem um pixel melhor, o Nesk! Consegue um clutch espetacular, um clutch que pode garantir.
That threat as Dan starts it off strong. It's a grenade to fall in as well, and it's only up to Rempe now. Is he going to be able to go for a clutch as well? For an ace clutch even. He gets 2 to start it off. That's a potential third, but Dan survives just barely. It's the third one to come through. He spots one more. Is he going to be able to get that one? He swings around the corner. He gets a little bit off. No way, he gets a quad kill. That is his second clutch in a row. What are we seeing?
There's the first one from Pengu, starting off what happened in the last round, but 2 kills come flying through. Virtue has got to do it all by himself here if he wants to keep this one going. He finds one, picking off Frenchera from above, but he has got work to do. Can he see the man going for the plan? He sees the feet, he sprays, he puts it down! No way, he just won that! Virtue downing him at the last second wins it out!
Yo, what's up guys? I'm gonna show you how to spin your mouse just like me.
Most of the time I just use my fingers to flick it into a 360. However, you can use your whole arm for a nice clean one.
Think all console players are garbage? No. I think they're garbage compared to PC. Well, like the top tier at console players and top tier PC players. Garbage. Not garbage. I'm sure you can probably find, you know, PC players that are way worse than console players, but...
Can you fix the broken? Can you feel? Can you feel my...
Hello guys.
What I think, and I'm not ranting just as like a competitive player or anything. I'm not like a high rank competitive player that is complaining that people inevitably are better than me. I'm just a player that enjoys competitive and also enjoys unranked. Usually unranked in VaLOrANT. I believe that VaLOrANT is not really a competitive title. And I think this because of a number of reasons. But first I will discuss the similarities between the two games. VaLOrANT and Siege have both a planting aspect in the game. There's 5 of you in each team and 2 teams battle it out for a number of time, for a period of time, to plant or defend against the people that are planting 2 or 3 sites. So what does Siege have that VaLOrANT doesn't have? Siege has walls that you can shoot through. Now in VaLOrANT you can shoot through these walls as well, but they are more like boxes or little things in the way, such as a door that allows you to shoot through, you know, these objects. Whereas in Siege, you can literally blow up the wall and not even have a goddamn wall. You can blow up the door if you want and not have a goddamn door. There is no door, but there is barricades that act as doors. But why does this make so much of a difference to players that play both of these games? VaLOrANT has a spectrum, just like any other game, where there are like not as skilled players, so they haven't mastered the mechanics of the game, or their aim is not quite right, or their game sense is not quite in touch with other players that are in higher ranks. There is a spectrum of ranking, and it goes from lowest, so it could be copper, which is for both games, up to immortal, ascendant. So in Siege it would be like diamond, yeah, and champion. The spectrum is so important in esports. Now I study esports, but it doesn't mean that I know so much more than everybody else. But it means that, yes, I do it in my free time, so I'm most likely knowing more than the average gamer. So with that out of the way, with my ego aside, the two games, they have a spectrum, and the spectrum of skill is crucial for any esports category in games. For a title to be considered good for esports, it has to have a skill base between pros that are various. So if the spectrum is very narrow, then you have a lot of pro players that are similarly skilled, but some of them win and the other pros lose because of the extra inch, or in VaLOrANT's case it would be like the extra millimeter of a difference or a centimeter of a difference that a pro has on another pro. And this is not great. It's not great because the second best or the 5th best or the 10th best doesn't have so much of a different play style, and doesn't have much of an advantage when it comes to how good they are actually playing compared to somebody, let's say, that is 5th, from 10th to 5th. They don't have much of a gap between them. So when you see players like TenZ, you see him so godlike, and people look at him and just, he's got all of it nailed down, you know. It's almost like he has so little tools that everybody has, and he masters it the best out of all of the other pros. That's why it looks so good, and it looks so like so creative in an environment that is so restricted, which all of us are. But what happens when an environment is unrestricted, like Siege? when it's unrestricted, when there are more probabilities of shit happening, like you can fucking shoot through a wall, or you can blow up a wall and have an extra way of line in sight towards the objective or the opponents, there is a massive difference. And the way you use utilities is almost the same as VaLOrANT, where you use power-ups. You can use smokes, you can use heals, you can use walls to change up the variability of the game. However, this brings me on to my next point. The verticality of each game, of each map, is crucial of how different and how varied the game is going to be and how it's going to turn out, like the result basically of the game. It's crucial. In Rainbow Six Siege, you have each map, you have a building, literally. You have like 2 or 3 floors, and even some maps you have a basement, you know. Each of the floors you can actually shoot vertically to get to your opponent. Or even stun them, or just disorient them in some way so that your teammates can actually get into sight and take down and complete the objective. Whereas VaLOrANT, there is literally nobody that goes above you and tries to stun you and tries to shoot you through a wall. It's extremely rare. There's some maps that do allow it, but majority of the maps, they do not allow it. There is no vertical play usually in the game. So why is let me reframe it. Both VaLOrANT and Siege are FPS games, and when we're like playing FPS games, we are noting down the recoil, you know, in our minds, or literally noting them down. And the recoil in VaLOrANT is notorious for just being unpredictable compared to, let's say, you know, CSGO, because it's so similar in mechanics. Yeah, although it's not similar at the same time. Rainbow Six Siege has a predictable, or a lot more predictable recoil pattern than VaLOrANT. Like, I hold a gun and I already, just playing it for a few weeks, I already know, even if I spray, I know like majority where my bullets are gonna end up. Whereas VaLOrANT is really not like that, especially.
Close.
Yeah, pushing me through the window.
Get me off this shit. Wait, how is my right click that bad? I'm literally right clicking the middle of this guy's chest, this Phoenix, right next to me, literally point blank. And it's just boom, boom, boom. All my bullets is like this. All my bullets are
guns like Vandal. Bruv, you cannot be like taking that shit out and just start spraying it out. It's just not gonna work out. And the people, even pros, do this. It forces, it kind of lures, it baits you out to make stupid plays where you're not thinking about how you're shooting, but you just start to spray all of a sudden, you know. And it's quite common with gamers, not only like casual gamers, but also pros. This is a really big issue. It puts more unvariability, like a variability that is unknown, unpredictable. And predictability is crucial to distinguish like who is actually better than the other person. VaLOrANT does this by putting so many goddamn rounds in a game that you literally have to play like so many rounds until
How is this our first game together?
It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night.
Ah, damn it.
Ah, damn it.
An hour and 14 minutes.
Wait, it's only an hour?
Switching sides. I just want out, bro. I just want out.
Yes, let's go. Thank God I called that, bro. No, nice.
Nice.
Let's go.
Okay.
Now we will draw
Alright.
GG maybe? Nah.
I think we do our classic mid push again. What do you think?
It's like, you know, probable that the person who's won actually is better. Whereas Siege, it doesn't leave room for shit. You're either gonna get your shit right, or you're gonna get your shit even more right than the other player, and that's how it is. It's not. It doesn't force. It doesn't lurk you. Like, it doesn't bait you to become a lazy player or anything like that. It just makes you play and be thoughtful of the way you play. Now, I'm no pro, and I'm no like a sweat that would watch so many games and see which one's better than the other. However, I do watch some pros here and there to see how they play, and high ranks in general, such as on YouTube. Like, it's entertaining shit, and sometimes I just like seeing some insight. I watch so much predictable play from both ends, whether you're a pro or you're not. Just as a high ranked player such as Immortal, everything becomes a pattern, and which all games do have in their higher levels. However, these games such as VaLOrANT is extremely repetitive, to the point where, for example, false defusing would be a thing, and it became so predictable that you'd fake defuse and then you try to shoot them and then defuse again, to the point where pros sometimes, or high ranked players I've seen, don't even bother looking if the guy is defusing for real or not, because they're expecting a fake defuse.
Three spawn side.
So shit like that is it really brings it down to almost a flip of a coin, because the pro and the other high ranked player or the other pro also knows what they're probably gonna do, and they are just trying to put what is like the most popular patterns against each other pretty much. Whereas Siege, it's not about the most probable patterns. It's literally, you can design a game style, game pattern to your own signature pretty much. It's really, really cool. And also there are, of course, unbalanced behaviors in both games, such as Siege. Because in Siege they had quite a big problem. It's not as much of a problem now, but after the patches, but where you can literally make a hole in a wall, and from like a tiny bullet hole you can shoot somebody else in another room, and that was OP as fuck. So most people were doing it, but the beauty of competitive in Siege, and what makes it a suitable environment for it to be competitive, is that you can literally make a bullet hole, but you don't have to depend on it to win you the game. So even if you don't use that OP strat, you can still win the game. You can still beat the other pros at it. And I love seeing that variability. It makes literally every single game just so many signatures. It's like signatures on a football shirt, if you want to see, you know, instead of copycats. And that's what VaLOrANT feels to me. It feels so much copied, to the point where somebody has to find the smallest amount of change to make them win over the other high ranked players. And that's not much of a skill. Even though you have to be creative also in VaLOrANT, it doesn't leave much room for improvement. It doesn't leave much room for style. So when we see YouTubers that play with a very various style, like such as Flights on YouTube, the way he plays Raze, for example, it makes us want to do the shit that he pulls off as well, because it's like a signature play. It's so good, the way he uses the satchellers, and we just want to imitate it. We want to imitate many people that are high ranked, but this is really, really cool to see. And over time, people do get your signature right. But on Siege, imitating BaLO, for example, is ridiculously hard. You know, it's like, it's not as easy as copying your parent signature, whereas on VaLOrANT it is like that. Sooner or later you're going to be able to predict that signature and write it completely, almost exactly the same. Whereas BaLO, if you're trying to imitate the way he plays, it will take you years. It might even be impossible. It's ridiculously difficult because he's constantly evolving whilst you are trying to still imitate the shit that he did before. It's incredible, you know, and there's so much room for even improvement for BaLO that by the time you even get to his old self, his new self is going to be like 10 times the player that you finally reached. That's really the spectrum that Siege has. Such a wide spectrum for pros to even be even more advantageous in the pro league, in the pro scene. And that's something that VaLOrANT has been lacking. And shit that VaLOrANT players get really, really bugged about. Little differences that result them in dying or their team losing the round. That has been all of my rant. And yeah, what do you think about this? I really wanted to know how people think about this game, because I'm really passionate about both of these games. And yeah, I'm not feeling the competitive scene of VaLOrANT. That's why I enjoy it more of an unranked game. Anyway, if you like this video, please let me know what to do next and what to do differently. Yeah, I'll see you in another video. Cheers.